Moving to the UK from another country sounds like fun until it really isn't. Now, my experience is that I moved back to the UK from Hong Kong a few years ago now, and the expense of moving and the difficulties that we have at different points were really quite overwhelming. When you are thinking about moving, the temptation is to get online, get on the internet, and start thinking immediately about a property where you're going to live. But I would wholeheartedly recommend against making any form of agreement without coming to the UK first. So the first step would be to get yourself to the UK and get checked into a hotel and allow yourself several weeks, if not several months, in a hotel whereby you can spend some time looking around suitable properties. And the reason I say that is because although nowadays the types of photographs are much better, there are 360-degree tours that you can go on online and you can get a really good idea of the inside of a property before actually visiting it. But it's still just not good enough. So my experience has been when I have actually looked at photographs online and looked at the 360-degree tours as well, and I've seen properties which, for me, are really encouraging. They're sort of properties which we would like to go ahead with. When I've actually got in, for example, maybe the ceiling height has been much lower, or maybe even much higher than I first thought. The surrounding noise around the building, or the building just doesn't feel quite right at all. The room sizes might feel oddly shaped. And it's only really when you actually get yourself into the property and you can feel the property that yourself that you know deep within yourself whether this is right for you or not. So avoid the clamor to sign the first property that you see online before you come. There really is no rush. And obviously, if you're going to come to the UK for several years, then your living environment is absolutely critical. It is arguably more important than the job that you're going to be doing, because if you're not happy and you're not relaxed in the environment in which you're living, then that's likely to translate through into the job that you're doing anyway. So it's very, very important to spend a little bit of time really getting to know the area and getting to know the types of property and visiting the properties which could be the right ones for you. My experience is that when people move to another country, they are thinking predominantly about visas and flights. And whilst those are incredibly important, probably even more important than that is trying to carve out a degree of stability when you arrive. And that is something which you need to give some thought to in advance. And if you manage that whole process effectively in terms of how you spend your money and how you go about selecting the property that you want and how you go about setting that property up, if you go about that in the right way, then it can lead to a much higher chance of a successful transition and hopefully many, many happy years in the UK. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.